Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, where we talk with local entrepreneurs, share motivation, network with one another, and pick up a tip or two on how not to burn your business to the ground. I'm your host, Spencer Ward. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Idaho Business Podcast, where we talk about real Idaho business experiences, the wins, the lessons, and everything in between. We are sponsored by Health West, great organization, great people. Give them a Google, see where they're the closest to you, and see what they can do for you and your loved ones. We're also sponsored by my company, New Clean Commercial Cleaning. If you need any janitorial needs, any of your carpet cleaning needs, any of your stripping waxing needs, tile and grout cleaning, all the fun stuff that you don't want to do yourself, give us a call at 208-254-7070. Tell us that you heard about us on the podcast, and then we'll throw in something extra for you, a little extra surprise, no strings attached. All right. I was thinking, this week we dealt with a lot of employees, good, nothing crazy bad, but it got me thinking a lot about culture. And today we wanted to dive in to a topic every business owner needs to master if they want to scale, and it's employee systems and culture. And that's the importance of the buy-in. So you've heard me talk about it before. In any service-based business, especially cleaning, facility maintenance, or anything operational, your systems and your culture are what make or break you. They're the foundation of consistency, and consistency is what creates long-term customers. And not even in just the service-based businesses. This is in every business. This is key. So let's start with just systems for a minute here, guys. Mike Campion, one of my personal friends and coaches, said, you can't hold people accountable to a feeling, only to a system. That's huge. That's gold, because when you don't have any systems, you're relying on people's memory, their mood, that day on their own versions of good enough, and that's not scalable. Okay, systems create clarity for you, for your managers, for your employees. They remove the guesswork, and they protect your company culture because everyone knows exactly what right looks like. Jeremy Miner from NEPQ Sales Method talked about how clarity creates confidence, and that's just as true in operations as it is in sales. When employees understand what's expected, they perform better. When managers can measure performance objectively, you can fix problems earlier. And when you're consistent in delivering your service, your customers notice. And that's when the 5-star reviews start stacking up and when referrals come in naturally. Okay. How many of us, have systems in our company, the quote unquote systems, but then we're thinking, yeah, I've got systems, but yeah, it does rely on how my employees wake up or what their mood is for things to get accomplished. Well, then you need to go readdress your systems. Okay, let's dive into culture for a minute here. Now, culture, that's the heartbeat. Systems without culture are just checklists. Culture without system is just chaos. So Tony Robbins said, culture is the invisible force that drives behavior when no one's watching. You can't fake culture. Your team either feels it or they don't. It starts with core values. For us at New Clean, it's be honest, work together, have fun, and make money. That's not a slogan. That's how we make our decisions, how we coach, and how we reward, and even how we work for other people. Because it's so much easier to work for other people that share your same values. You don't want to work for someone or even hire someone if your values are, be honest, work together, have fun, and make money, and their values secretly, which they won't ever tell you, is lie, cheat, and steal. Those don't mesh. So, and we'll get to that here in a minute. When an employee feels part of something bigger, when they understand why they're doing what they're doing to a certain standard, they're going to show up on time, and the client experience is going to increase. That's buy-in. Now let's talk about the reality, because this isn't all sunshine and culture quotes. We got to talk about the reality here, because not every employee is going to buy in. I'm sure you're probably thinking before I said this, yeah, yeah, Spence, it's all fine and dandy in a perfect world, but not every employee is going to buy in. Yeah, we understand. Totally get that. Well, we're going to talk about that right now. So no matter how good your culture is, no matter how clear your systems are, some people just don't want to be a part of something bigger. And those are usually the ones who are putting in less than stellar work. You know them. You could probably point them out right now. You probably have a list, at least five, maybe 10 people that you're like, yep, these are the ones. So Alex Hormozi says you can't teach hunger, you can only find it. That hits home for me because I've learned over time that you can't make people care. You can only create an environment where the right people thrive and the wrong ones opt out. That's so true. I've seen that, over 14 years being in business, we've hired probably thousands of people. And you really see the ones that buy in and are truly attracted to your culture and like, okay, yeah, we share these values, and there's less hand holding, and they're just more fun to be around. The other ones, you're just constantly have to, well, no, you have to do this. This is step one, two, and three. Remember when I told you this last month? This is how you do it. Remember? Well, no, I got to show you. This is how you hit the hammer on the nail with the hammer. This is how you do this. Oh, remember I showed that again to you a month ago. That's the type of people that no matter how good your systems are, they're going to find a way to screw it up because there's no buy-in. And some people also just want to see the world burn. I'm going to probably catch some heat for that, but that's how it is. Um, so turnover, it's inevitable. It's a part of growth. But what you can do is reduce it by making your company a place where good people want to stay, where they see opportunity and where they see opportunity, appreciation, organization, they'll be there, and they'll stay for a while. Okay, so here's the magic formula. Strong systems plus healthy culture equals lower turnover and better customer experience. And that's really when it comes down to for any business people. I'm sure you're all nodding your heads. Yes. When your company runs like a machine, organized schedules, clean communication, clear responsibilities, your employees feel supported, not overwhelmed. Carl Allen, another coach of mine, says it perfectly. When you talk about systems and leadership, businesses don't fail from the lack of effort, they fail from the lack of structure. So how many of us have that, just we're gonna wake up at the crack of dawn and we're gonna work until everything is done. Yeah, I'm sure many of you are just killing yourselves with effort, but is the structure there? You know, we just had a key employee leave our business that we acquired in Idaho Falls. Um, and the first thing I've asked my manager, my staffing manager, is what is the plan in place to cover this employee's responsibilities? And what is your game plan to get this replaced quickly? Because if you don't have, some um, urgency in getting stuff done, things are going to start collapsing. And you got to have that structure in place. Some people don't understand the urgency of it. I'm not saying my manager doesn't understand that. I'm just giving that as an example because you always have to be on top of things. But that's a very good example of like, hey, there because of this vacancy, now we are left with 3 or 4 holes that we have to fill quickly. And it doesn't have to be all one person to fill these holes. We can find multiple people to fill these holes, but we have to find answers quickly. So we're always about getting things done lightning fast and not letting any type of bureaucracy slow things down. And that's why I promised my managers and our employees as we get bigger, I'm terrified of having this big bureaucracy. I don't want that. I want lightning fast decisions. I want to empower people in the field with the right structure so that our company can continue to service our customers the right way and to keep them coming back. So, um, Carl hit it right. A disorganized company drains good employees and frustrates good customers. And when your culture says we've got your back and systems say here's how to win, your people stay longer, work harder, and take more pride in what they do. And customers feel it. They feel it in consistency, the professionalism, and the responsiveness. That's when your company goes from just a cleaning business or just a roofing company or just a mortgage company to a trusted partner, whatever it is. That's what you want to be looked at. You don't want to just be looked at as this company, XYZ company. You want to be looked at as a trusted partner. You want to have raving fans, not just someone that's like, oh yeah, this is the person we put up with. So to wrap it all up, buy-in isn't a one-time event, it's a journey. It's built through systems that bring clarity and culture that brings belonging. It's built when you as the owner walk the talk, show appreciation, and lead with purpose. With my company, I don't get to see all my employees every day, every week, or every month. So we put out videos at times. We try to have gatherings with our employees at times. Try to do as much as we can because we're spread out over, I think, 6 cities at this point. But you have to find ways to instill that culture and to help them feel like they're still part of this team. And like I said there, you gotta walk the talk and continue to show appreciation. And it's not like, well, I'm paying them, aren't I? That's appreciation. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's just holding up your end of the bargain. You said, I will pay you when I hire you if you do X, Y, and Z job. Okay. And if they do X, Y, and Z job, they're going to get the pay which was promised. Okay. Appreciation goes beyond that. And that's what keeps people coming back. Okay. Patrick McDavid said, your people don't buy into a company, they buy into a leader. So remember that, people, and leaders and managers. That's you. You set the tone. You model the values. If you can get even 80% of your team bought in, if they understand what success looks like and feels like, they matter, you're going to build something special. You'll reduce turnover, increase retention, and your customers will notice the difference. Because a company with strong systems and a healthy culture doesn't just grow, it thrives. So I hope some of that stuck with you today. Hopefully you can, take some of that in and it'll help. I'm over here not preaching. I'm just telling you what has worked for me from experience as a business owner. So thanks for tuning in today for another episode of the Idaho Business Podcast. If it hit home for you, share it with another business owner or manager who's trying to build that same buy-in with their team. And remember, be honest, work together, have fun, and make money. So again, see you next time. Adios. That's it for today's Idaho Business Podcast. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you didn't, I've got a cheat code for you. Go to theidahobusinesspodcast.com, enter your email, and get my 20 golden rules for business. It's packed with my best advice, plus it's free. Subscribe, leave a review, share this with a friend. Until next time, keep hustling, keep laughing, and keep Idaho awesome.